From shadows deep, a whisper starts to bloom, a tiny spark defying all the gloom. They said we were too small to eat, to rise. They ignored the fire burning in our eyes. But every root we set, a promise made, a silent strength that never will evade.
Across the field, forever standing tall, panics every fear. We will rise, till the phoenix will rise. I don't hear echoes reaching for the sky. Unstoppable aura, eternally we fly.
Brian is innocent. Brian has been essentially convicted in the media. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.
Good morning, every beautiful person out there in YouTube land. Whether you're tuning in from who knows where. I appreciate being here this morning, and I'll tell you, it has been a fabulous, restful weekend. I hope every single one of you have had an amazing, beautiful weekend. So, hello, all you truth seekers. I'm your host, Phoenix. This is Phoenix Talks, where this community shows up for one reason, and that is to find the truth. And yes, may the fourth be with you today. So, if you're here for truth, if you're here to question everything, and most of all, if you are here to see what others miss, you're in the right place. Good morning and welcome in every single one of you. Right. I'm excited this morning. I have had a peaceful weekend, peaceful rest, as I wish most of you have too. I'm going to do one thing a little bit different this morning. Just a little different this morning. I'm going to welcome you all in, and we are going to take a little look at what's going on with the news. Jack Showalter. All right. He said something in his interview that just made me think and sit back and a little spark to try to figure out what was their strategy, what was their end game. So I just want to say welcome in every single one of you. We have a special, amazing individual that is tuning in from South Carolina. And I just want to say welcome in everybody. If you know somebody in those states that we're still missing, let's put them in our stream. Arizona, I guess I could mark myself, but would that count? New Mexico, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, West Virginia, Vermont, Maine are still missing, Rhode Island, and let me see, Iowa. It would help if I put my glasses on. They're right here. Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa. So if you know anyone in those areas, or are you in that area, let us know. We'll put you on the map. So welcome in everyone. Angelica, hi. Artsy gal, good to see you back. Make Chevy's square again. I agree. Rebecca, welcome in. Hello, Cheryl, welcome in. Jenny, Caleb, good, fabulous morning to you. Hello, everyone. Hola, amigos. Lulu Garcia, Truth Seeker, I love it. No talkie before coffee. Becca, good afternoon. Yeah, no matter where you're coming in from, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, mid-evening. Hello, Munson, good to see you. Wolf Angel, Les, good morning. Angelica, Peony, I see you're green now. Welcome and thank you for your membership. Love it. Les, hey, good to see you. So many beautiful people in here this morning. Ink Mama in the house. Don't forget, tomorrow is our very first book club, chapter 1 through 5 on the broken plea. We're going to have some amazing Pennsylvania in the house. Whoop, whoop. Becca, welcome in. Welcome in. Let's see, Iowa. We've got somebody in Iowa. Welcome in, Jenny. I didn't count myself. Lulu Bell, let us know where you're dialing in from. Ready for this truth seeking live? I sure hope so. Can't wait for the book club. Me neither. Me neither. Hello from Australia. Where is our world map? Don't we have a world map? I think we do. Let's just take a peek real quick. I think it was actually updated. Let me see. Let me just see. Yeah, I've actually got one. Let's throw that up there real quick. Thanks for reminding us that we won't forget the rest of the world. Miss Q. Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all back. I'll tell you, nothing beats a good restful weekend. Although I think I did. I did do a Saturday live, didn't I? I think I did. Woo. It's been a long, long weekend. Cleaning and whatnot. Got some new things set up. How does my microphone sound? Does it sound better or worse? 1 for better, 2 for worse. Let's just see about that one first. And this beautiful map brought to you by one of our nesters. And there we go. So let's add all of them to the week. Sounds better? One? Yeah, I'd see a lot of ones coming in. Oh, fabulous. I love when technology works. Oh, it makes heck of a difference. So let me do this real quick. I've got something I had planned, and I usually don't plan, but I saw something that I thought I needed to share. And let's get the party started. Whoop, whoop, here we go. Don't you ever feel like this is the Idaho 4 in a nutshell? Where is my video? I love it when this happens. Where did I put it? Let me see. Is this it? No, that is not it. See, that's what you get when you come to a unscripted live. You get a hodgepodge of everything. Oh my gosh. Yes, I've seen the new videos out. I told you guys that funny joke. Where in the world did I put that video? Oh gosh, it's gonna fight me. Hold on. I'll search it. All right. Where is it? This is what it feels like when you're so not ready. All right, I have to mute the music, but I'll put some music on while I show you this clip, because this is definitely what it feels like sometimes when we are talking about the Idaho 4. So welcome in. If you are on this map worldwide, drop a comment below. We'll make sure to add you on this map or the USA map. We'd love to be able to share everything with you and make sure that you are represented. Here we go. Sometimes the Idaho 4 feels this way.
All right, y'all, you know what time it is. Breaking it down with the signs and the symbols.
Watch this drop. Oh. Ups and downs. That's what the Idaho 4 case feels like some days.
Woke up this morning, sunshine and bright, saw a peace sign graffiti painted in the night, stop sign on the corner, red and bold, a story in the city, waiting
this drop is wild.
Signs and the symbols everywhere.
All right, you kind of get an idea. That's what this case feels like, y'all. It is funny, but it's actually true. There's Canada and Finland. All right, pretty much. That's what it feels like. Audio is on. All right, let's get moving. No reports taken pretty much. Yeah. The news wanted Jack Showalter to participate. And yeah, that wasn't going to happen. He kept saying the news wanted to interview me. Now, has anybody watched the full 2 parts of the Jack Showalter interview? Because let's do this. All right. Let's separate facts versus interpretation, because this is where things get messy online. They can get really messy. Remember Jack, the hoodie guy, this and that, and all these other things. So let's do this. Good morning. Welcome in. This is Hoodie Guy, Jack Showalter's interview breakdown in the Idaho 4. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome home. Today, Phoenix family, we're going to dive into something that has lived rent-free in the internet's head since day one of the Idaho 4 case, and that's Hoodie Guy, right? We all know him by Hoodie Guy, identified as Jack Showalter. And here's the newly released interviews. You can go right over to Connor's channel. Everyone knows who pretty much here. If you don't know who Connor is, I'm going to drop the link in the chat so that you therefore can watch these videos on your own. You don't need to be watching an hour stream. Phew, excuse me. Whew, I better not be getting sick. I better not be. Yes, and Caleb, his name is officially John Jack, they call him Jack, Rogers Showalters. Well, let's break that down, Caleb. That's a great question. Why do they call him four names? John is his birth name. Jack is a nickname for John. Rogers is his middle name, and Showalter is his last name. So Jack is indeed a nickname, kind of like JFK, John Kennedy Jr. JFK, duh. John F. Kennedy and John F. Kennedy Jr. I think they called uh, Jack. Didn't they call him Jack Jack? Yeah, they did. They called Junior Jack Jack too. I believe so. So it's just a nickname. Absolutely a nickname. But like some people that don't go by their first name, they may go by their middle name or a kind of like a offset of that. Like I know Roberts go by Bob's or um, Richards go by Dick, or you get the idea, right? Unless he's Catholic, it could be a confirmation for names. Very true to it. Yeah, very true. Absolutely. That could be a possibility too. I was trying to be cryptic. Don't know how they got Jack out of John, but you know. JS has many names: John, Jacob, Jingleheimer, Smith, da 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 da. All right, you get the fireball of the day, Munson. I don't get nicknames either. All right, so here's the ground rules. So let's listen. We're not here to wildly speculate. We're here to think, to question, and apply logic. He read my mind. Because in this space, we don't chase noise. You know, we're chasing clarity. We're chasing truth. So here's the ground rules. Before we get into it, let's set the tone. Everything we're discussing today is based on released interview footage, public information, observations grounded in logic, not assumptions. I've got my banner up there. We're not here to defame, slander, harm anyone. We're not accusing anyone. We're not rewriting the investigation. We're just taking a look in not so real time, because remember, at the time of these interviews, it was just within 48 hours to 2 weeks that most of these people were interviewed. We're here to ask one simple questions. And one of those being, what do these interviews actually show? He was never charged. He was never a suspect. He was never listed on any documentation as being a suspect. And let me give you my honest review. I'm going to give it to you unfiltered, because sometimes my mouth does not have a filter. And he sounded sincere. He sounded a little frazzled, a little shaken. And in my humble opinion, he did sound like he wasn't going to be truthful 100%, no matter how you look at it. If he was present, he's not going to say, oh, yeah, I saw everything that happened, unless the interviews that we are now watching in the Idaho 4 are actually factually so highly edited, because, you know, you don't see his mouth moving. I believe humbly that this does not match the interview. If you watched any of it, it does not match any. They're not giving us the truth. They're just not. Drop a one if you don't think, gosh, drop a one if we're not getting the truth, guys. We have to go and sift out the bull. We have to go and find the truth. The ads are heavy, always at the good parts. They are? Oh my goodness. I had no idea. It's hard to hear him too. Yeah, it is very difficult to hear him. I agree. Are you guys getting a lot of ads? Last time I changed my settings, the algorithm dropped me from shorts and all kinds of videos. He doesn't stop talking. No, he doesn't even let the investigators ask him decent amount of questions. Yeah, I hate when they start putting ads in the lives. Oh, you got a ton of them. I'm so sorry. I'm willing to bet the cops covering for the school because, yeah, Vern, you've got a really good assessment there. I said it from day one. If you watched my cleaner video, we know what's going on. Ones and we're all getting twos. He doesn't even breathe. His mom's in the interview with him. Well, you know who his parents are, right? They're very prominent. I remember when I first heard about the Idaho4 and they mentioned Showalter's name, I was like, whoop, they're going to basically bury this one. So if you don't know, his dad is a very famous surgeon in the area in Boise. And I don't know if he practices in Meridian, but that is a very nice area besides Boise. And also his mother is I want to say a pediatrician. So both physicians, both very contributable, if that's even a word. They contribute to the med schools out there. Most of their children have went on to be doctors also. And yeah, obviously Moscow was a good place to be able to send them to get their medical training, and then Washington. So yeah, there is a lot of truth to this. And Lulubelle, the truth it was bent from the beginning so bad it never broke. Yeah, I think the rest of the world is starting to learn how serious of an issue this can be. I don't know if he was adopted, but remember I did a video on him, and his parents were taking family pictures in Texas, a photographer out there. And I can show you. Let me see if I still got the picture. I can show you. Hold on. If I still have that picture, I think it's in my repository somewhere. Larry D. Showalter is his dad. And I don't know if I still have that picture, but his brother is half two different races. So I know for maybe a little bit of a fact, I haven't found anything if he was adopted, but I think overall he has a great demeanor. He minds his own business. I don't think he's part of the I'm going to get in trouble club, other than he really throws it out there how hot-headed some of these frats are. It sounds like he's very responsible, very respectful, had a girlfriend, was broken up at the time, per his own words. And yeah, in one of the videos, the investigator said the politicians want this over quickly. Not only that, I'm going to show you a video in a little bit after we do this topic. So let's rewind a second. Jack Showalter became known as the hoodie guy because of one thing: video footage. The grub truck. He was seen walking near the victims at the corner club, leaving with two of the victims, even shortly before the timeline ends. And just like that, the internet went and did what the internet does. They zoomed in, they clipped it, they replayed it, then they labeled him a suspect when he was not even a suspect. He left, and they are sitting in Meridian at one of the locations where the ISP is. That is their headquarters in Meridian, right outside of Boise. And let me ask this right out the gate. Does being the last person near someone automatically make you suspicious? Yes or no? Does it automatically make you suspicious? The other Jack was suspect, though. Yes, he was number one listed. And someone says yes, yes. I get a lot of yeses coming in. Yes, no, yes. Hello, good morning. Yes. No. Well, that would be Gower. Yes. Needs to be questioned. Yes. Unless it's the husband. I agree. Yes. We see a lot of those. Yes. Yes. Or the wife. On the fence, no talkie before coffee. And well, that's where logic kicks in. All that's logic. Does it make you suspicious, or does it just make you visible. All right. So there's no problem with saying yes or no. There's being on the fence. It's being logical. Yes, Jack D, I don't know, attend or look out for or watch out for. I don't know if that was the case. I don't remember him saying, my friend asked me to look out for Maddie. He was friends with Maddie, and according to him, he didn't really meet Kaylee. So I don't know. I mean, does he know the layout of the house? I mean, I know that they made Jack D draw a map to see if he knew where anybody's rooms were in 1122. I know that, but I think they're all suspicious. Yeah, they all should be questioned. Oh my goodness. I was accused of a double homicide because two bodies were purportedly found in the trunk of my vehicle, which thank God I sold months prior. Caleb, oh my word. Oh, you mean the other lady? The other lady was Kaylee. I don't think he really knew Kaylee. I had a problem with this interview at his parents' house. Oh, his interview at his parents' house. Yeah, they interviewed him how many times? Wow, Caleb, I'm so sorry that happened to you too. So does Ink Mama. She says the same thing. That is something scary. I couldn't imagine the investigators coming to my house and telling me, we need to investigate you because you had a vehicle and there was two bodies in it. No, thank you. I would be on the way out the door. That is wild. We'll have to talk about that someday. Although I know someone who allegedly they thought he was uh, a murderer, but he wasn't. It's crazy. You know what they are. You say you are who you hang with. Yep. And was he protecting the frats? Maybe. I mean, let's think about this for a second. Jack Showalter, John Jack Showalter, right here. In his apartment, there was blood. I think I went over the forensics and I shared with you this a while back. There was blood in his apartment, and they had to get a warrant to go and test. And sure enough, there was blood in the hallway and in the shower. And perhaps, his front door was cleaned and they didn't look like all the other doors. And allegedly, if he was at any fight night or fight club, I don't think he's going to come out and just say it. All right. But I will say there is one thing that doesn't sit right with me is if he was injured that night enough to bleed like that, did he need stitches? Where did it come from? How did it happen? And these investigators don't push or press because I think they already know what's about to go down, in my humble opinion. But when the detectives mentions there was a struggle, he was sus. And that is the freeze moment. They already know who he was with that night. He was with Connor Chestnut. They already know that they're good friends. They already have Connor's information. And whether Connor was having some escapade with Maddie and sleeping with Maddie, and perhaps that's the dark hair you see in Maddie's bed, how do we know it didn't happen another night that he was there visiting Maddie? It is very sus. But was he cutting chicken with Austin? The chicken guy? Yes, and where was the bleeding from? Caleb, I was accused of a hit and run in San Francisco University with a car I sold and Jersey off. Oh, wow. Wow. Never registered in his name. Oh, that's scary, Lulu Bell. Wow. Thank goodness you weren't in Moscow, Idaho. Nosebleeds in fight, in my humble opinion. So wouldn't he have some type of nose injury? Wouldn't he have some type of injury on his hands or something? Wonder if him and A had a knife fight. LOL. Well, somebody else had blood on them going into Jack Decor and Adam Lada's apartment. So now we have three people with possible And 3 different frats, guys, 3 different frats, 3 different angles, 3 different blood. What do we do with that? Because those are the facts in this case. There's a big difference. In almost every case, there are multiple people who were last seen, but only one narrative gets traction. And that was Jack, John, Jack, Roger Showalter. Whoa, 4 names. Jingleheimer Smith. All right. Jack is, yes, he is. He's very avid, experienced hunter. Didn't he have an issue with harassing some females or something? I don't know that rumor. I know he was arrested last year or the year before for disturbing the peace. Yeah, outside of some restaurant or bar or something. He did. And obviously his fingerprints and DNA were in the system, so they were easily tracked. Maybe JS name is Chicken Patty or Chicken. Chicken breast. Lisa Marie, thank you so much for that. Thank you. I appreciate you. It's scary because hit and runs are more probable and easier to throw someone under the bus. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Caleb and Lulu Bell, scariest. I'm happy you guys are okay now. Living through something like that is pretty scary. I mean, people have PTSD from less. I mean, my mods, thank you so much. Thank you for your contributions. Chicken Little. The sky is falling. Moscow is falling. Yeah. All right. So let's do this. It's not a high pressure interrogation. It's not confrontation. This is a conversation. Why does that matter? Because the tone tells you how law enforcement approaches a person. Question for the chat. If investigators believe someone was deeply involved, what tone does that sound like? You guys know the tone. I'm sure you've seen enough TV shows, the tone. And I know after watching one of just a little part of this interview, the detective does change his tone. He does change his tone a little. We know who you were with because they know he's about to lie or expel on the truth or talk about something that has nothing to do with it. Yes, and it is Mod Monday. So please remember, if you can, tip your mods this Monday. Everything 100% today goes to them. Everything. Oh, Lulu Bell, I'm so sorry. They came for you at work. Yeah, if they're coming, they're going to go to your work. They're going to subpoena you and send it to your work. They're going to find you. Right? And that's what makes me mad about this case with those 2 people. Oh, I've got a whole plethora that we can talk about this week. The 2 people that had subpoenas for the defense obviously mysteriously disappear, and one of them is in Boise, and one of them is still in Moscow, and no one can serve these subpoenas. What the heck was that up with, Ann Taylor? You send out subpoenas, they're going to get served. And it's not like they didn't even try to find these people. Like I told you, I found them both in less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So, hey, if you've joined the stream, do me a favor, swipe down, hit the like button, swipe back. You're not going to miss anything. I'm going to slow it down. We're going to listen to a little bit part of this interview. If you're sitting in front of the police, they're going to talk to you differently if they think that you're involved, right? They're not going to just talk calm and smoothly and perfectly articulate. No, they're going to get back. Oh, and we're going to talk about Mom being in the interview and all the rumors, believe me. So they're sitting down. I'm going to put the closed captions on. We're going to listen to a few minutes of this. And let's listen to what he says in this clip.
And then vehicles are another big thing, and how people get around were getting around at that time. So on Friday night, what'd you do Friday night?
No, I don't think I did anything, because like my habit kind of is like Thursday night is kind of when people start going out for like it's early weekend. So I usually kind of go out like Thursday night and then just hang out Friday night, just doing assignments or something like that. So I usually don't like go out back-to-back nights. So I think that was like one of the weekends where I went out Thursday, stayed in Friday, went out Saturday, stayed home Sunday watching football, So that's usually how my weekends kind of go, like on a normal basis. So like I don't think I was really doing anything that I can remember. I'd probably just be at home, like hanging out.
Okay.
But I can't really recall specifically what I was doing necessarily.
So not much on a Friday. Now, did you know that it was some formal for the sorority? I mean, do you know what was going on campus on that night?
I mean, maybe, I don't know, like I feel like there's always stuff going on. I'm
Okay.
always taking part in certain activities. Like I don't care about certain things, so I don't know, like a lot happens without me really paying attention.
Okay. Did you know that the house where the homicides took place, that they had a party that night?
I mean, not that specific night. I heard about them having, I think, a party Saturday maybe. I don't know. Maybe I think it was game day. I thought they had people, but I don't know.
Now, why did he say he thought they had a party Saturday night? Did they? Was there, and this is just my humble opinion, was there some type of party at the 1122 house while Kaylee and Maddie were out, and they weren't supposed to have parties without them being there? Because remember, all the disturbance calls, all the complaint calls, I'm sure it took a little toll on Kaylee and Maddie, being obviously the most senior people in the house and being responsible. And now Jack lets out, maybe there was a few people over Saturday night, and maybe the investigators don't know. So now I need to probably shut up. I don't know.
Okay, and
because people usually just say King Street, and there's like 6-7 different houses people like be going to. So like,
okay.
And there is the same behavior that I saw with Chicken Guy. Okay, well, we're going to get them hospital records to see how your hand was injured and yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden he says, well, maybe it's because I fell into the window. You know, my buddy said I punched a window or I fell into the window. You don't get a cut like that just falling into the window, you know, but Jack Showalter seems to have the same demeanor and the same behaviors, in my opinion, as Chicken Guy. Like, if we're found out, we're all going to get in trouble, allegedly.
And when you say, when we're talking, if you would help me out, whether you knew that prior to the, you know, the homicide, or is stuff you've learned afterwards?
Afterwards.
Okay.
I don't really, for the most part, like I went to, I think on game day, an apartment at the Whites, but for the most part, I don't like.
And that seems to be the party of 60 or 70 people at the Whites. Chicken Guy lives at the Whites, right? And now they've redacted a lot of this. And these guys, Mama's speaking. Let's talk about Mama.
I don't really hear.
Mama's talking. And let's talk about the one everyone is circling back to. Why is his mom there? All right. Now, I mean, he could have just ponied up and got a lawyer. He doesn't have to talk to the police. Because online, this turned into a moment. Why is mom there? Is that normal? What does this mean? So what do you think this means? The freaking campus is The Walking Dead. These people are too much. They didn't ask how he usually spends the weekend. He asked about that weekend. He was avoiding the questions. Yeah, avoiding the questions. Sound hesitant when he said Saturday, like, oh, I let the cat out of the bag. It's not a typical no. He says that Brian was making those complaints. What, Steve? Oh my God, Brian was making the noise complaints. Oh my gosh. This needs to be a federal case and move to the Eastern District of New York Federal Court. They will cut this shit in crux and end all the BS. Overprotective helicopter mom. Okay, so that's what we think of mom. Well, let's ground this, right? He's a young adult. He voluntarily is speaking with law enforcement. That says a lot. And yes, he has a parent present. You know, the human brain is not fully formed till 26, and these kids drinking. And I think, was he of age? I don't remember if he was of age, but I think he might have been. And he was pretty much a loner other than him and his buddy Chestnut hanging around together. And they never charged Chestnut with this case. I thought the Moys had made noise complaints. That's what we were told. We can't prove it unless somebody got the FOIA. Mom thinks she can protect him. Yeah, and she was, as a matter of fact, somebody said it too. Mom was bawling her eyes out when they went to go fingerprint him. Yeah. Mom was blowing her snot, pretty much boo-hoo. I think that is you're going to be put into the system. Oh, now he's a bad kid. He's labeled it doesn't signal guilt if a parent is there. Maybe it signals support. We have to stay grounded in facts. He was never charged. But remember, this is 12/6. This is maybe 2 or 3 weeks after the murders happened. They've brought him back in. He called. He had 2 interviews, and I think he had 1 other interview at home. So they are very, very rich and powerful in this town. I spoke a little bit about that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Steve blames everything on Brian. The night was very cold, but Brian controlled the weather. It was the Moys. Yeah, it was the Moys. I'm going to show you a clip next that's going to blow your mind. Yeah. Most of these guys, he said, had a pretty feral alpha type of hothead people. I think that's what he said. Not verbatim, but it's no comfortable butter, no casual tone, no soft entry here. So what does it suggest? He's cooperating, accessibility, not isolation. And then obviously the media to talk with Jack. They would have ripped him apart. In my opinion, that was a smart move not to talk to the media.
About that stuff that much, so I don't really care to go there.
Okay.
So I don't know, it's all, I would say I've heard it after.
But I remember seeing so many videos of him partying with these people. So it wasn't like he was a loner. It's like dissociation. He wants to hurry up. Once the internet identified him, he wants to be like, no, don't pull me into this. Don't put me in the media. Right? He had no official prints in the system, correct? Absolutely. He used the word alpha. Yes, he did. I would be present too, especially under 26, right? I'm surprised he was allowed to have another person in the room. He's over 18. It's weird to me. I think because they know who she is, who her husband is, big wig donators. They know a lot of influential people. They know a lot of authoritative. They surveillanced him. Yes, they did. In the ISP document, what we went over, they definitely did. Mm-hmm. Him and 2 other people in Boise. Absolutely. Yeah, he did dissociate himself very quickly.
Okay. So Saturday morning, it's game day. Walk me through that day. What you do, who you were with.
Are you asking him again because he's still a suspect? Or are you
No.
asking him so much about him?
Now, right there, the words and the movement don't match because it looks like Jack Showalter is moving his hands talking, and you can hear the mother talking. This has been so redacted, so edited, so the truth is hidden. We don't even know if Jack Showalter was telling them what really happened. Okay? They might be, I don't want to say the word, but it's kind of like hidden in the shadows. But it's really odd that maybe I changed some settings, but it's really odd that he disassociated himself. He didn't want to talk to the media. He didn't want to become a public figure. He was pulled into it. And once the internet identified him, media interest followed. Who created Hoodie Guy, the media or the internet? Was he going to be the lone wolf that was targeted while everyone in the background? Because remember, this is only the 6th. The officials from 6 different agencies didn't meet until 4 days after this. 4 days after, guys, did Jack Showalter tell the truth, and they have edited this video so much to protect him? In his own words, he had no interest in ever going back. Did he go back to school there, or did they let him finish online classes? Did they make exceptions for some of these kids who moved out of the states that did not want to go back? Were they giving them some type of preferential treatment on the back end? Obviously alleged, but did they do this for these kids, these offspring? Possibility. That is a huge possibility, because we don't see a lot of who finished where, what, and how, but I see a lot on their LinkedIn profiles that they finished school, but when? All right? Think about that for a second, because they started the narrative. I don't know who started it, the media or the internet. It needed it to survive. It needed that narrative to survive, just not the attention. And suddenly, Jack Rogers Showalter became the main character in the narrative. And I agree, Inked Mama. These kids were protected. That's our opinion. He could have been a runner up to a scapegoat. Could have. We don't know. We can allege and speculate all day long, because John Showalter became a narrative. He became the main narrative until they all met, and then the real narrative took place. They had to figure out a game plan. I showed you those emails, and they had met on the 10th Pullman, WSU, PD, Moscow PD, a couple of other people, and that's the timeline. They had to change the timeline because they had to figure out, where could this logically make sense that we keep everybody out of harm's way. We can't say that MPD was negligent. They were off duty at 3:52 a.m. They left their post. They stopped patrolling that area. All the kids were home. All the parties were done. All the Sobros were done by 2. They couldn't go out by their chapters and their bylaws and their laws that they could not go out and pick up people after 2. So this had to happen at 4 a.m. Pretty much at 4 a.m. All right. Now, he didn't see them walking. He separates from the 2 victims that he knew was walking with. And that's where the public timeline ended for him. Now, here's the question. How many people exist in real world time that we never see? We never saw these interviews until, what, today's 3 years, almost 4 years, and a couple months later. What? You've got to be kidding me. 3 years and a couple months later. This was happening in real time while we were all speculating what is going on with this Showalter guy, right? Let's listen in. Mom's talked. We know their mouth is his mouth is moving. His hands are moving.
Sorry.
Because he's going to be with somebody, I think, on that day that I want to know and
Okay.
cooperate the activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
We already knew. He was with his buddy, Chestnut.
For the most part, I don't really remember what we did.
Now he says we. They've edited this out.
I don't think I went. I didn't go to the game. I just remember. It's hard to remember these days. The only thing I remember from that day is like going to that White's apartment, like going back from there in my place, and then going to the bars later. Like I don't really remember specifics, and then there was just like a ton of people there. It's like usually when it's game days, like everyone just like meets, so there's just like a ton of people like coming and going from the park, like people I know and people I don't know. There's also a ton of people I just don't know, because over like the 3 years of college, I was pretty much like in a relationship, so I was hanging out with like my girlfriend instead of meeting a lot of these people. Like, that's why a lot of people think I'm kind of sus, because I don't talk to a lot of these people on campus, because I was doing other stuff like relationship stuff.
Okay, okay.
So like, I don't know, I just like hang out with my friends, and like if I don't know you, I'm not really gonna talk to you. So like, there's a ton of people I saw that day that like I don't really know.
Okay. I'm going to bring up a name, in which I know you know him.
Yeah.
Were you with that day?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's my good friend.
I know.
I know.
So, what time did you meet up with?
I have no clue.
Now, did you notice how the detective shifted his focus, went a little bit harder on him, and basically said, I already know. So either he can choose to dispel and circumvent, distract, or he can just tell him the truth, because he knew he was got. He knew he was got at that moment. He got. Let's listen to a little bit more. I have no clue.
I don't know if I can.
I don't know if it was real or I was dreaming. I have no clue. All right, Blues Clues, let's get moving. Let's give the truth.
See if I maybe have. What date was that?
It would be the 12th.
I don't know. It's just hard to think of like times. It's like it'd have to be. I can't remember if it was like after the game or before the game. But I don't even remember what time the game was at.
Yeah, it was an afternoon game, if I remember right.
I assume we were like, I don't know, late, like early afternoon maybe. I don't know.
I don't.
Can you remember? Did you meet up with him at the house?
No, I don't think that.
I don't know about you, but I taught my kids at a young age, you never give me the answer I don't know. Okay? You never give me the answer I don't know, because you know. And if you know, I already know. So don't give me an I don't know. This is wild.
Everyone to the they might have came to my house for a second, just because I lived right next to. They might have. Him and maybe might have came to my house, but I can't remember if that actually happened before. You said the 12th.
Yes.
So
This is the first alleged suspect having onset dementia. Okay? Very young age in a criminal case. Isn't it weird how you see most of these criminals, when you're watching their interviews, automatically have a medical issue brought on, or some type of, man, if I can only remember. It's like selective memory, or CRS, can't remember shit.
the messages I have is I said, yo, he said, what's up? This is at 4:16 now. And I said, you still have the wipes? And he said, yeah, I'm trying to get food. And I said, where you at? And I said, at my place. I had to take some ibuprofen and stretch my back. My back is ducked. Grab me a couple beers if there's any left. Because they were like, the girls like bought like a party pool of beers.
What was wrong with his back?
Okay.
What was wrong with his back? Did anybody catch that his back was ducked? What was wrong? Did he have back surgery? Did he have, like, Bethany has a toothache, she's got to take some Advil or Aleve or whatever, and then Jack's back is all messed up. How did his back get messed up? How did they all get messed up overnight? I mean, it's not like Bethany says, oh, I've had this toothache for a week, Dad. What do I do? No, it just happened like on the spur of the moment. And what happened to Jack? Jack, did you break your back? Did someone get you hard? What happened? Broke back? What is going on here? Oh, my word. How many people were... Oh, and then we've got somebody who was filleted. And...
I don't have messages from him until the 14th. About, like, that's when we were talking about if, like, you're leaving, if we're leaving or not.
Okay. So, had you guys been at the party yet, or did?
So I would say if that was at 4 o'clock, I would assume they're going from anywhere from like 12 to like maybe probably like 12 o'clock.
Now, long story short, they already know his movements. They know his movements. They have seen Chestnut's phone. I think they probably pulled him in at the spur of the moment. And that's my humble opinion. And they don't know how much that they already know. He has no idea. But it gets a little boring. And there's another part of this interview I wrote down. This is where he starts talking about the frat. And this is wild.
Okay. Any problems? I mean, I'll just be honest with you. I heard the frat was on national probation or something.
Our fraternity?
Yeah.
We've always been. We've always been.
Okay. So since you've been a member, you've been on probation?
On and off. Like, it's very easy
to get on probation. Because I don't know. I was never in a fraternity, so.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, when I originally joined a fraternity, I thought it would be like Animal House. We have a lot more rules than I thought, and yeah, they harp on us pretty bad. So we get in trouble for very little things, and then I also feel like nationally they just like find any little excuse to like not let us do things. Because like I don't know, then we were in trouble before I even came up to this house. Like when I was a freshman from years before, as they were on probation, so we couldn't do anything my freshman year. And then like we'd get off probation, and then like one little thing would happen. They'd be like, "Okay, you guys are back home."
And what does probation mean? I mean, I just got to, and this is my curiosity. So
I mean, I don't even really know what it is. Like it's supposedly like I think less events. Like you know, like we barely have parties at our house. Like we never we throw like one party a year sometimes because we can never allowed to like actually throw parties. So it's usually just like you can't have the house might be dry, like no alcohol in the house. But
even for upper age guys.
It's kind of hairy. It's hard to tell a 21, 22-year-old you can't drink in your house. But
right.
That's correct.
You're not supposed to get the younger people fucked up, pretty much. Like you're not supposed to be doing active stuff with them, maybe.
Okay. And then what's your standing in the house?
Now, that's a great question.
So if you're a member,
they redact a little bit of this. Now, that's a great question. What frat was he in? He was in Delta Tau Delta with Connor Chestnut and Maddie's boyfriend at the time that we think she was still dating, and that was Jack Schreiger. And these guys, some of these kids were all from Boise. Now, remember, this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, which I'm going to dig into really deep. Because you've got Ethan and his brother, his twin, or I should say his triplet, one of the triplets, in Sigma Chi. You've got Tim DeWolf in Sigma Chi. You've got a lot of Sigma Chi here. Then you have the Delts, and then you have the Pies. So there are 3 different major frats he's talking about right here. He's talking about the hotheads, and he's also going to speak on something that has really made me do a deep dive. Now, Steve Jr., Kaylee's brother, was in Sigma Chi, and we don't hear anything about that anymore. What happened there? If Ethan and Hunter Chapin were in Sigma Chi with Tim DeWolf and all these other people, what happened to Steve Jr.? Wasn't he in Sigma Chi too? Wasn't he? Hello? And also, Green's son was in Sigma Chi, I believe. Yes. Wasn't he? So a lot of people don't talk about the Steve G, the Scott Green son that was the president of Sigma Chi. There's a lot more going on here. And if my memory serves me correct, it's interesting that all this information has been kind of like forgotten. I believe Steve G was there. I believe, in my humble alleged opinion. So if that's true, I mean, there's some early footage that I still have. There's some early documents, early posts, early videos. What happened with that? Alpha, Beta, Pi, or Kappa, Appalamp. One of them. I can't remember. I think he was in some type of fraternity. I'll look at my notes.
I mean, is it like my golf dues where I got to pay my dues? And
well, this is for me.
There they go, redacting it.
Yeah, like Mondays, or because Mondays we'll have chapter, which is where we just all meet, talk about what's going on in the week, like someone fucked up, like tell them they're an idiot, shit like that.
So it's not like Animal House down in the basement, and it's more formal?
Well, it's not, it's pretty casual.
Why did the detective say Animal House down in the basement? Why? That just made my ears perk up. I don't know. All I remember is they stopped talking about Steve G. They wiped it from the internet. Interesting. Well, the video I'm about to show you kind of contradicts a lot of this stuff, so get ready for it. So his interview, let me just finish this topic and we'll get to the next one. I mean, he cooperated. They interviewed early. There were no charges. There were no arrests. The investigation moved elsewhere just 4 days later. Now, ask yourself this. What usually happens when everything I just read off to you and all those boxes are checked? Everything, he checked all the boxes. They did their due diligence. They interviewed him. They redacted a bunch of this. The words with the position and the movements, the hand, the head, the feet are all off, highly redacted. I'm getting redacted fatigue here. So when they do that, it usually means the focus shifts. And 4 days later, they shifted to no other than Bryan Kohberger, in my opinion. Because just a week before that, they had what? They had all of his information from the officers over at WSU, because they went to the Idaho State University. They went to Idaho and they said, give me a list of all your Elantras on this campus that are registered, and I want all the names. And then they moved it to Pullman and they said, pull everything you got. We want all the information. We want it all. And sure enough, they found someone who would fit the mold. Everybody wants to say, oh, Bryan Kohberger's a Fed. Bryan Kohberger's this. What if he's just an innocent bystander that had an Elantra that they could build a narrative around a criminology student becoming a Ted Bundy because he was studying and all this stuff that they could find on the computer? Oh, man, he would be perfect. I could hear them say that. But what if Bryan Kohberger had some type of side gig, side job, that he needed extra income, that he was sending to his parents? Is that a possibility? I mean, let me just throw some things out here. Let me close this with Jack Showalter. It isn't about one person. It's about how quickly the narrative could form. When they realized this guy wasn't going to fit the narrative, they needed to move on to the next. It's about behavior gets interpreted as evidence. Just him being in the spotlight in the media, it gets mistaken for involvement. And then silence get filled with assumptions. We weren't getting any details. We weren't getting any court records. We weren't getting any interviews. And let me leave you with this. Since we're here and we want to seek truth and we're analyzing facts or reacting to impressions, how about we decide to protect the truth in a world that moves so fast? What do I mean? We could sit here and talk about Showalter all day long, but we knew they shifted focus away. And I think a lot of creators like to talk about it because maybe he did give them some information. Maybe he didn't. But We do show up to find the truth. We challenge the narratives. We demand clarity, and we don't stop asking questions. If there was one question that you can ask Jack Showalter, what would that one question be? Drop it below. I know for sure my one question would be, Jack, were you injured that night in a fight? Hopefully, he wouldn't tell me about his laundry schedule. What would be the one question that you could ask Jack? Oh, I want to know why the G's refused to have a sit down with Ellie and lawyered up. Wow. Especially if they didn't have anything to hide. How did they get an Elantra? FBI list never had that on a list. Those Elantra lists came from the University of Idaho per the legal. There is a MPD asking for the warrant for everyone on the campus that had an Elantra. And then they went and asked Washington. And the officers went and found all the Elantras on campus. I guess Fight Club was in the basement. Perhaps we can speculate because he specifically says basement. How many of those kids have memory loss? Instant. I would ask him to tell what happened that night and then tell me backwards. Tell me again backwards. Studies show that the true stories can be told backwards and forwards. Wow, that is amazing. What did Maddie tell Adam? To ask if anyone was staying at his place? Ooh, was it Connor Chestnut? Could Connor had been staying at Jack Showalter's? I mean, the blood was tested and it said it was his. Do we know that that's accurate or not? No, but we can only rely on forensic evidence reports. They did test it. They said it was his. What's the last thing you said to Ethan? Ooh. Didn't he claim not to know Ethan very well? Who was going to get them and what for? How did you really get that blood everywhere? What did Maddie tell Adam? What did Maddie tell Adam? And where are the stomach contents? Ooh, agape love. That's strong. Wow. Yeah, I don't think he knew Ethan. He said he knew Maddie and Xana a little. And we've seen him in pictures and videos of Xana, partying with people. He was there. Oh, yeah. FBI original list didn't have it on. Yeah, you're right, Munson. Willy-nilly to get a list of tickets. Well, they found all the Elantras on campus. Then they kind of saw that this guy is you guys are gonna laugh at me. I had a dream about Brian Koberger last night, and he was our Uber driver. It was so weird. It was so weird. I'm telling you, it was weird. He was so awkward, and it was weird. I would ask why he was following the girls around when JD was no longer with Katie. Oh, yeah. Well, he said he didn't know Kaylee, but he knew Jake, right? He knew Jake, Maddie's boyfriend, and he knew Maddie. So I don't think that he was really friends with JD, two different sororities or two different fraternities. The girls were in two different sororities. Why was there blood in JS's apartment? Yeah. But if he murdered someone, I assume he said something to him. Well, he didn't say he really knew Ethan. I think in the background on Banfield, they were on Showalter's flat. Oh, you think so? Oh, that's interesting. Did someone have a key to Showalter's? Maybe Connor had a key? That's just speculation. But we're going to keep looking and finding the truth. We're going to keep searching. I know we will one day. Now, I want to bring your attention to this video right here. This is wild, folks. Absolutely wild. And what I'm about to share with you will rock the internet. It is going to make you think twice about what we were told. Obviously, we're already thinking that way of the Idaho 4. But when you hear, if you haven't heard, some of this in Officer House's body cam, this Officer Morris, sorry, this can also be found at Connor. I'll drop the link in the chat so you can go watch it. You will be shocked at what we pick up here. I'm going to post this. It is there in the chat for you. If you guys want it, go grab it. I would ask where Connor was while he was with the girls. Allegedly, in the broken plea that we're going to go over tomorrow, the work of Chris Whitcomb, it says, and this is something that I brought to your attention last week, at 1 a.m., Chestnut goes to sleep alone in his room per Chestnut. O'Neill report, that was the FBI. And his own alibi. And then that's where Chestnut was. How did they check up with that? How did they find out? When these guys are saying that they sneak out windows at the frat house, people were in trouble, they weren't supposed to be going out, they found ways to get out. Their buddies covered for them, in my humble opinion. Come on. We know what these young kids, they're going to go out and party and have fun and do whatever they want, right? They're going to find a way. If there's a will, there's a way. So, well, so Chestnut's sleeping, and he's at the bar with Maddie and Kaylee. It doesn't say Showalter leaves Corner Club. Jack leaves Corner Club. And then Chestnut doesn't wake up until the next day. Oh, he was playing video games. Chestnut, it says at 11:30. No, that would be 13. This would be 10:30. Chestnut wakes up and plays games in his room for the rest of the night per the FBI O'Neill report, 11/21/22. And then he goes to bed after playing games at 1 a.m. How convenient. All right, we'll talk more about that tomorrow for sure as we review chapter 1 through 5 of the broken plea. Very interesting stuff, guys. All right, so repeat it like a broken record so we know you can't alibi yourself legally, according to Bill Thompson. Well, didn't Brian Koberger? I mean, let's watch this video, and then I want to talk about something at the end about Brian Koberger. It's going to be good, guys. It's going to be really good. So listen, I want to go to, let me look at my notes real quick. Ha. All right, so he's at the front door securing and monitoring it. All right. All right, let's just grab this. This is Morris at 1651. Let me go 1651-ish. And this gets really hot. 1651. Let's get there. They're just talking a little bit about jibber jabbing. Okay. So 1651. Let's pick it up, and then I'm going to stop it.
It got cold, but it wouldn't be cold right now, right? What time did it say that we got out here on this call? Probably around noon.
Okay, they got on the call at noon. That is when, obviously, the 911 call was placed.
12:15. 7 hours, 5 hours.
They've been out there for 5 hours.
Is day shift tomorrow coming in early? Relieve these guys on nights? They've been all on for the last 3 hours too.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know 16.
Day shift's already here.
Right.
Most of them. But like House, Blaker, and Payne. House just went home. Blaker and Payne are still here. I don't know when they're going to be going home.
Blaker and Payne have been there all day. And isn't that in contradictory to what Payne put in his documentation? I mean, that's just a side note. That's not the one that I wanted to talk about, but I just caught that.
Y'all come in tomorrow. You can come in.
Yeah, so they notified 3 of the 4.
They notified 3 of the 4 already. So they notified 3 of the 4 victims. Thank you so much for the mods. Thank you, Les. We appreciate that. The mods appreciate you so much, and we miss you. I do. I know Caleb and Dina do too. So thank you so much for the mods. And I will make sure they do. You know that. So, yeah, they mentioned a domestic dispute. They sure did. They mentioned something else also. So there's a couple of things in here that I pulled out. And this is like, wow. Payne and Thompson could win awards for their extensive work in fiction. Oh, we love you, Liz. Thank you, honey. So listen to what they say. They say 3 of the 4 victims' families were notified already. Now, this is approximately, what is it? Almost 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Which family did not get notified, guys? This is really troublesome for me. I thought all the families by 5 p.m. were notified. We've got Steve G saying they were going to watch football or they were watching football and they got notified. So then we have Kernodle's family was notified, and we know that Maddie's family were notified. Which family was not notified? Were the Chapins not notified till that late? I mean, she had said they were already notified and were driving there. So whose family was not notified? They were notified late, but they said they were watching the game. This is already at 5 o'clock.
Sicknesses, accidents, and stuff like that. That's all one thing. Yeah, someone else.
I don't get what he meant by that. He saw one thing, someone else. That was a little odd. And the conversations they have back and forth on video cam, they probably shouldn't.
Is it theft?
Yeah.
No, they said the suspect.
They did. They said this suspect from a theft at Walmart a few days ago.
What are they talking about?
Is it theft?
Yeah.
No, they said the suspect.
They did. They said this suspect from a theft at Walmart a few days ago.
A theft from a Walmart a few days ago. Let me go see what they're talking about in the police blotter. Theft, Walmart. Let's see. Let's say November 22. Moscow, November 13th. November Moscow report. Let's see if there was any November. I don't see any report. Activity log. Let me check the big country blotter. Moscow employees stole $121,000 in fraud scheme. Holy moly. Wow. What in the world? Moscow Walmart employees stole $121,000 in a fraud scheme. She pled guilty to a wire fraud from 2018 to 2022. She was sentenced May 24th. Wow. She received $72,000 in unlawful proceeds on debit cards. She overpaid herself and received nearly $50,000 in additional money. She received a total of $121,891 in fraudulent dollars. Wire fraud is 20 years in prison, maximum $250,000 in restitution for the money stolen. Wow. Does she have a name? Yeah, April, what is it? Signoski? That's the name. Yeah, nothing ever happens in Moscow. That is, and let me just throw you that link. Now, I don't know if Costa Rica, Central America. She was February 13th in U.S. District Court in Coeur d'Alene. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Wow. Well, let me just check one more thing because I do have a file. I think I have a video file. Hold on. I think I remember something about Walmart. Let me just look. Here it is. Let me see. This is the activity log. I think there was something, Walmart arrest. Hold on a minute. Walmart arrest. And this was from November 12th, Saturday. So that day before, but he says it was a couple of days. I've got a couple of different references to something going on with Walmart and theft in Moscow. So yeah, I guess that's legit. Let me just see, November 2022. Something was going on. Okay, so we know that the officer's talking about something theft in Walmart. It's not related to this case. There was no theft involved in this case. Somebody had said there was, but I was just a little curious. Let's go.
I have winter gloves too if you want some.
Oh, I'm good.
All right, let's get to the good part.
Aren't you wearing them? Just holding out for as long as you can.
My hands might be bigger.
I'm going to go a little bit forward, 1654.
No, it's too loose. It like sags on my.
Here we go. And I was thinking the same thing, Christine. We must be on the same wavelength, because there was that missing person, Sharon Archer. And obviously, Kaylee said that they saw her at Walmart, right? We don't know if it's connected, but didn't she say, where did they say that Kaylee saw this woman? Walmart where? Was it Rathdrum, or I thought it was Rathdrum. KG saw a missing person. Yeah. Sharon Archer. Where was she last seen? Wasn't that over in was it Rathdrum? No, Coeur d'Alene. She was last seen at the gas station in Coeur d'Alene at 12:21 a.m. I wonder if that was part of it. This was the Sharon Archer. Hold on. Local missing woman. This was the police that were searching. Kaylee had said she saw her at Walmart in Coeur d'Alene. She was missing, and then as soon as Kaylee reported her missing or seen her, she was found dead in her Toyota Highlander in a lake. And the confusion with that seems to be that how could Kaylee see somebody who was already deceased? So I don't know the full story on that. The dates are kind of skewy. So yeah, IDAHO4 Revealed talks about it. That's another creator. And I was kind of curious to see what the dates were, but the report, I've asked for the report, and somebody actually sent me a screenshot. Hold on. Let me see if I've got that screenshot. Or is it a recording? Somebody sent me something about the report. That story's wild. Just watch the video. Kay said she saw her, but I think she was already dead. Yeah, or tipping somebody off of something happening. Maybe it was connected. I don't know. Maybe there is some big, huge scandal, or who knows? I mean, it seems a lot of stuff in this area is very sketch. If you would drop a 1, if you agree with me, a lot of stuff in this area is super sketch. Wild stuff happening. It's crazy. And was this what the cop was talking about? Could it be related? Could this have been related? They said it was theft. Was this related to some bigger theft? Is that even possible? Huh, I wonder. It just says she showed up at the convenience store on 4th Street near I-90 near her home. And then she was found at Lake, really close to Rathdrum, where Kaylee is from. She was missing for 2 weeks. And then they find her car submerged, missing. Or is this all interconnected? Could it be? This case is too much. There's a few other mysterious stories around that area too. Absolutely. This is the CDA, Coeur d'Alene. Police find missing woman Sharon Archer's car submerged in a lake, body found inside. That was October 23rd. When did Kaylee report her being seen? Let's find out the truth. Hold on. Let's just check this out. Maybe it's a distraction. Let me see. Let's see. Let me look at the. Okay, so this report was made on 10/5/21. That was the date of the report. So 10/5. So she could have seen her. She wasn't already dead. This report says that she saw an older female that had been reported missing out of Coeur d'Alene. This report was taken on 10/5/21 at 11:36 at night. So obviously Kaylee must have been at. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on one second. Hold on a freaking minute. It says that she was seen at Pullman Road Walmart. And Dustin Blaker happens to be the responding officer. What the hell? Kaylee told me that a female was staring at her and her boyfriend. Kaylee told me the female was staring at her and her boyfriend. Well, who was she at Walmart with this late at night, and who was her boyfriend? When they were in the store and as they checked out, Kaylee told me she didn't see the missing person flyer until several hours later. What? Wow. Kaylee forwarded me the flyer, and I have electronically attached it to this report. Officers responded to Walmart to see if they could find the Toyota Highlander Archer was reported to be in. We did not find the vehicle. I had other officers check all the hotels in town to see if she was staying at one of them and didn't find anything. I went to contact one of the managers for Walmart. I asked the manager if he could review the video surveillance camera to see if a person Kaylee reported was, in fact, Archer. The manager told me there was currently no one in the store who had access to the surveillance cameras. I was given an email to send the request of someone who could get access to it. Date of Archer's death was listed in her obituary. 18 days after Kaylee reported having her go missing, they found her. Okay, let's go back to the news article. Let's go back to this one. Found inside a lake, October 23rd, 2021. Archer was last seen driving on the 28th. A Coeur d'Alene citizen said she noticed an object in the water near the boat ramp. Okay, that's when they found the car, October. So let me see her obituary. Let's see. Here it is. September 28th. Oh, they went by the date she was last seen. But couldn't they pull the Walmart cameras to prove that that was her or not? She died of 62 in Coeur d'Alene, September 28th. They took the last date she was known seen. That's why. She was from Montana. Robert and Roberta Henry. She was the oldest two of 4 children. She was married and moved to Mullen, Idaho, where she had, here, I'm going to give you guys this obit. And I'll give you also the article on finding it. So everybody has that too. You know how transparent I am. Do your homework. Okay. And let's see. She had a terrible accident that left her with a brain injury. Sharon's long-term memory was damaged, and short-term memory was all she had to work with. She loved horseback riding, shooting, pool leagues, and darts. She finally got to the point where she couldn't walk much. Wow. Kind of sounds like Nancy Guthrie, no? How did she get away and drive in a car? She couldn't walk much, so she gave up being a pool league. She found a new passion in gambling machines. She was a great smeller and could do a speller. She was a great speller. Sorry, Sharon. And could do math problems quite well. And Chuck was always amazed she had that ability. They put her death date as the date she went missing. She was submerged. I wonder who did her autopsy. I wonder if Kaylee did see her. That is wild, folks. They went by her date of death, date of missing, September. Wow. She was last seen September 27th. This was KTVV's post, September 27th. So they determined she died the next day. So how did Kaylee see her? Whoa. Definitely don't want to go to the Twilight Zone, guys. Whew. All right. So this cop is talking about was it related to theft? Was it related to theft? Who was Sharon Archer seen with is the question. Who was Sharon Archer seen with that this may alleged have a connection? Let me go back to the report. It doesn't say. Let me go back to this video. Hold on. There was another girl, another missing woman, 10 miles away, another one missing. Is somebody abducting older ladies with maybe some disabilities and taking their money? It's not like unheard of that people go around doing these things. I'll have to see. Did anything in the report to specify who was driving her car? Somebody had to have been seen with her. They had to have seen someone. So Kaylee just said she saw her. Kaylee reported was in fact Archer. Kaylee knew it was her. How did she know it was her? Last contact was September 27th. Who was she seen with? That's the question we should be asking. Who did Kaylee describe? If this woman could barely even walk, was she driving or was somebody else with her? This is really wild, folks. What if this was retaliation for reporting Sharon Archer? We don't know. But why would the cops say theft? What is going on? Okay, truck pulls up. Everyone see that truck in the back? Truck pulls up. And listen to the background. I've got the closed caption on. So they pull up. They're asking who's in charge. Brett Payne, obviously, and Blaker's around there. So this is allegedly ISP because Tablet walks up, gives his name, and they are going to be processing the scene. This is at 5 o'clock at night. They're going to be processing the scene. And in the background, it picks up exactly what they're saying, but you have to listen very close. So Brett will take possession of the package. I think, in my opinion, they are talking about the whole crime scene. So they put everything in packages. Then the lead detective takes all the evidence. And I think that is what they are talking about in the background. Let me remove this banner so you can see it better. He says it's similar for like what you guys did for the Army. So obviously, if you have a background in military, they operate pretty much the same. They're going to package all the evidence and they bring in their totes and they bring all their stuff in. I don't think somebody pulled up and has a package for somebody to plant. I don't think so. But is it possible? Another creator has says yes, but let's listen to what they're talking about because this is huge. So he says there's a male and a female. That's all he says. There's a male and a female, and we got a better picture of what's happening here, folks. Okay? And Payne said, I hope there's no retaliation for this when he's in the hallway. Right? He says something to the effect, so I'm going to have him log in. And I wish there was an audio expert that can go in and clean this up because this is huge. So they're talking about collecting the evidence, the original, the copy's yours. You want a copy of it. So these are the ISP handwritten notes when they're walking through.
Okay. So, talking to the other two people that were in the house, so they all got home different times throughout the night. They'd all been kind of at different parties. One of the parties was actually.
So he just says, and obviously you guys can hear this, and it picks up everything on the closed caption. Some of it doesn't. And this is where you have to have some earphones listen in. I wish somebody would clean up this.
Across the street. The other two people in the house who live here, one lives in the bottom apartment. She's up in the front door to the right.
One lives on the bottom of the apartment in the bottom. She's going to be the front door on the right. Who was the roommate living to the right? Was there a female down there? Guys, this is not just one time he says this. I want you to make a note. There's a female. Listen.
Okay. So, talking to the other two people that were in the house. So they all.
Talking to the other two people that were in the house. Okay. So that eliminates Bethany and Dylan. Talking to the other two people that were in the house. Listen to what they say.
Got home different
Okay, we have the party confirmation across to the whites. That's the chicken guy, right? And it was a jersey party going on. Everyone had team jerseys.
The other two people in the house who live here, one lives in the bottom apartment.
One lives in the bottom apartment.
Look at the front door to the right.
She's going to the front door to the right. There was a female in there.
The other one is also on the main floor.
The other one's on the main floor.
And that one potentially has a better timeline. She heard something around 4.
This is Officer Morris's body cam, and it is on Connor's channel. I've dropped it below, and I'll drop it again. There's the link. Somebody needs to clean up that audio. Here is the link for Connor's channel. He has a repository of all these body cams. Okay. Yeah, the 6th roommate was supposed to be Ashlyn Couch, but they said that she was not there. Now, Ashlyn's Couch's brother is kind of sus. I went over this before. He's got a record. I shared it before, and it involved drugs.
She said it was one of the victims playing with the dog, or she thought it was. She then heard that same victim yell something to the effect of there's someone in the house. She opened up her door, thought she saw someone at the top of the stairs, shut her door. A little bit later, a few minutes later, she heard a female crying. She thought again it was the same victim, but may not have been, crying in the bathroom. They heard a male voice that she did not recognize saying something to the line of the effects of, "It's okay, I'm here for you."
Okay, now, this statement has always confused me, and I had to go and logically think about why he's making this statement. All right? So, if Dylan heard Maddie run downstairs, I'm sorry, if Dylan heard Kaylee dancing in the front room with Murphy, let's just say that she's giving you the details. All right, let's just assume for a minute that this is how it went down. I'm just hypothetically thinking here out loud. Let's just say that Kaylee runs down the stairs. She says someone's here and goes to open the front door. Let's just think about this for a minute. Hypothetically, if this is how Kaylee's blood got in other places, just hypothetically, give me just the moment of the doubt here. So let's say that Kaylee says someone's here. Maybe she heard the door, someone trying to get in. She runs downstairs, they grab her, and they force her back upstairs. Maybe that's how the blood got where it is on the 2nd floor, the main floor. Okay? That could be possible. Absolutely possible. That would explain Kaylee's, but that wouldn't explain Maddie's or Xana's or Ethan's. So, I mean, I just thank you for giving me the benefit of the doubt here, because the next thing he's going to say is huge. And if it was Kaylee that was downstairs in that room, and that is her pendant that was broken off of her necklace, and it's only part of her necklace, that would make sense.
What that context was, we don't know. The way she made it sound, it wasn't like the guy was being trying to appear healthy or anything like that. It's more along the lines of she wasn't a friendly individual. Shut the door again. A little bit later after that.
And the bathroom. They mentioned the bathroom. They mentioned the bathroom. Is it the bathroom downstairs?
She opened up the door again and saw a male dressed in black.
And is it the girl downstairs seeing this and not Dylan, but maybe Dylan was told to say this to keep the other person out of this story?
Had a balaclava or some type of a mask
Maybe they didn't want this person in the public.
over his face, standing by the back door near the slider. She claims he's Caucasian based off of the cutouts in the eyes. They made eye contact. She shut her door, and she's pretty sure that was my door. Shortly after that, she called the other roommate downstairs.
Shortly after that, she called the other roommate downstairs. Was Bethany even there? Is that why Bethany is like really standoffish? Maybe Bethany wasn't there. I keep thinking Bethany left because other witnesses saw her leaving. And remember, Tesdale, and they were doing their little rounds, and he says maybe he saw one of the ones with blonde hair walking around. Was Bethany even there, or was Bethany outside of the house and someone else was there?
Maybe there's someone in the house. Yeah, there's one they said, come down here, you can sleep with me. So she went down there. So maybe the phone call and tell later in the afternoon. Yeah, the call came in at about 11:59. Was the initial report. They called a boyfriend or a friend to come help him out. He went in, found the person.
I think the other roommate was there, in fact, and they had to put out the narrative that she wasn't there, in my opinion.
Deceased female on the second floor, armed himself in the kitchen knife, and went and cleared that room, realized what was going on, he called 911.
We all know, I played the video the other day with the Wallace and Gromit or the Mickey Mouse hands. They totally blurred that out. Other people are saying that I did it. I didn't do it. It's released on Connor's channel. You guys can go look at it for yourself.
That's the guy who's sitting on the picnic area. Yeah. There's a spot of blood on that beer pong table.
There's a spot of blood on the beer pong table. That was said to be Kaylee's. At first they said it was Anna's, but it was actually Kaylee's because they misnumbered all this crap. Now, I thought he said there was blood found on this vehicle. I need somebody to clean up this audio, some expert out there.
Armed himself in the kitchen knife and went and cleared that room. Once he realized what was going on, he called 911. That's the guy who's sitting on the picnic area. Yeah. There's a spot of blood on that beer pong table. And look, you might try to have hospital. You guys want to do a quick walkthrough? Should we do anything else?
Senor, thank you so much. I'm working on the audio of Lanier when he says, I have a theory, and it's talking a lot of work. Most is too quiet, but he definitely says axe murderer info. That's interesting that you say that. That is very interesting. I saw a video the other day, and that would be perfect. Hold on a second. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can pull it up. Here it is. Let me see. Hold on a second. This is very interesting. Let me get past this commercial. Hold on. Let me grab it.
The Zodiac killer is known to have killed 5 people, although the real number of victims could be in the dozens. No one was ever arrested, but Gary Francis Post has long been suspected of being the serial killer who vexed law enforcement with his cryptic letters and signs. His case has been profiled in movies and miniseries and captured the attention of those fascinated by crime, including a group of volunteers called the Case Breakers. Case Breakers are an eclectic group of investigators and journalists and military personnel who seek to solve crimes. Did the FBI have a chance to catch the Zodiac killer before he died? Joining us now is Eric Kleinsmith, who is with the Case Breakers. Thank you for joining us. For those perhaps not familiar with the Zodiac killer, tell us what he did and during what time period.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Trey. Zodiac Killer was alleged to have killed 5 people through 4 different attacks from 1968 to 1969. And he's really been seen as kind of the holy grail of cold cases, probably through his name and his taunting of police and investigators over the next several years. But it has consumed amateurs and professional sleuths alike for over, now we're up to over 50 years.
All right, and what new evidence, well, don't let me presume new evidence. Has new evidence been found? And look, I wasn't around back then, but my guess is murder is a violation of state law. The FBI would only get involved to ask, but did law enforcement have a chance to do something and did not do so, whether it be state or federal law enforcement?
Yes and no, and that's really been the frustration of the team that we have put together. And we've been working this for several years. The case was brought to us from a previous case we've been working on the D.B. Cooper case. But what you have is you have several different local law enforcement entities that are not really communicating with us, and as well as not communicating to each other. So you have San Francisco, you have the potential for Riverside Police, you have Vallejo County, Napa Valley, and then we've alleged that there's other victims, to include Sherry Jo Bates and Donna Lass, who we think was murdered up in the Lake Tahoe area.
Do you think, using probable cause as the standard, do you think that there was enough evidence to arrest Post, and then I'll get you to say whether or not you think he would have been convicted beyond a reasonable doubt?
There was substantial evidence, but again, it took us years to put together, 50 years after the fact. And our guy, Gary Francis Post, he passed away in 2018. Now he was arrested in 2016 for abuse of his spouse, where they should have taken his DNA and put that into CODIS. That never happened. So there was a mistake on procedure from that area. Could he have been convicted? It would have taken a lot more, and we're down to the point where it probably would have taken DNA. And for cases that this old, we're really now talking more about a historical case than an actual live case that can be brought to trial.
Any explanation for why his DNA would not have been entered into CODIS?
I think it was just, I really can't answer that. I think it was just a mistake on the local part, and from that point on, it's just been difficult. Now we've been able to recover his DNA through neighbors that have volunteered and family members who have volunteered some materials that we were able to pull, and then we verified that with a blood relative. And we also have former military intelligence, counterintelligence expert like myself, who has had contact with members within the Bureau that said that since 2016, Gary Francis Post was their suspect.
Eric, it's amazing what y'all are able to do. I mean, law enforcement has access to tools that I assume as private citizens you do not have access to. So the fact that you're willing to do this and try to bring some I don't want to say closure, but bring some peace to the victims and their family members, kudos to you. Eric Kleinsmith, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Interesting. I kind of had that thought process when I was watching the Idaho4 when they were talking about this. And I thought, you know what? This is something that needs to be talked about. Why didn't they put DNA into CODIS? Was there too many? Was there too many options for DNA to put them into CODIS? What do you think about that? Let's listen to the rest of this. I want to point something out. I've got some fireballs to drop, and we've got one last topic I want to cover.
This is Detective College with TALBOTT and A more.
TIL. TALBOTT.
There go the bells in the background. This body cam time is correct.
171. I think back right now. I think Sarge finishing.
Okay, hold on, no worries.
17. Or entry 1800. Correct.
Okay, did you hear him say Gunderson rear? Listen to him.
I think who's in back right now? I think Sarge finishing.
Okay, hold on, no worries.
Who's in pack right now? Gunderson.
17. or entrance 1700.
Rear entrance 1700. So he marked him in. He marked him in.
Good.
And Gunderson is around the rear. Now listen to what the detectives say next.
Oh, behold, a broken.
3 coming in.
3 coming in. I don't know what somebody tells him. Maybe not ready. I don't know. Alleged. And now he says, where are we at down here? And he's going to explain again. Listen to what he said.
He came in, figured this out. This is where the...
So he came in this house. He came in this house. He came in this house. How? That front door? Doesn't say how. This is where 2, listen. This is where the 2 took refuge. His brother? Did I hear that correct? His brother? Let's go back.
So he came in, figured this out. This is where the 2 took refuge.
Yeah, he said his brother. His brother. Whose brother? His brother. Hunter? Hunter Chapin? What is he talking about? I thought you were my brother. Okay, he did say his brother. We all got that, right? I think he said Hunter. He said his brother. I thought you were my brother. Something about daughter. His daughter. The brother and daughter. What are we listening to? They're explaining and they're telling us exactly what happened. The 2 took refuge downstairs. I need an audio tech to clean this up. His brother, his daughter. What? Play one more time? You bet. You want me to go slow? It might make that noise, but volume up, headphones in. Believe me, I already got this on video. I want someone to clean this up.
So he came in, this is where the 2 took refuge.
He came in this house. He's pointing to the right. This is where the 2 took refuge. His brother. And something about, he says daughter. I didn't get that part. His daughter goes here.
Yes, sir.
And they are in the right room. Notice how everyone is in the right room. They took refuge there. They took refuge in this room. Now, what did Chris Whitcomb say in all his interviews last week? And if you read the book for the first 5 chapters, what did Chris say? That room is going to play a huge part in this case. Okay? That room is a massive, major event in this room. got to do is listen for the clue. Now listen. Now they're taking them to the bathroom. They just went into that massive major room where the two took refuge. Remember when I was showing the pictures of the actual crime scene, the ones that they scrubbed? I've always said, I don't think Bethany and Dylan were even, maybe, I don't think Bethany was, at least. Something. I don't think that they would have either slept on that bed. I don't think Dylan would have slept on that bed.
We didn't get any of that from anybody.
She didn't say she heard water running at any point because the officer, the detective, Talbot, points this out. He points out. Did she say she heard water or something? What is in that bathroom that we don't get to see? He notices something.
Somebody they've been drinking a little bit. Stuff, but no, nobody said anything.
He says, well, they've been drinking, so maybe they don't remember. Now, what do you hear in the background, folks? We know that Murphy is not there right now. Whose dog is that? Is that the dog across? Is that Jeremy's dog? I don't remember seeing anybody having their canine here because it was said that they pulled him off of the canine duty and the handler does not have his dog. Munson, you know that's not Murphy. Murphy's being held at the shelter, I believe, at this time at 5 o'clock. I've always said it's a German Shepherd or something of that nature. And the truck leaves at 17:03. Okay, Blaker's going to walk up with Ashley.
I'll just yell at Brett.
You want to figure that, Cap?
Yes. Hey, Brett. Ashley wants to tag on your first walkthrough. There you go. Okay, you can.
So Ashley wants to walk through on their first walkthrough. This is not their first walkthrough, guys. We know that.
Fritz.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now I got a couple more minutes of this footage, and then I'm going to share something else, and then we're going to be done. Okay, 22:04. When Payne said, I hope there's not more shit. tied to this. Yeah, obviously retaliation of what comes out. I remember hearing that. Now, one real quick note. It's coming up. Watch Blaker as he walks back up. Yeah, and for anybody in the chat having bad weather, please stay safe. Absolutely. And if you are in here trolling and we catch you, you know what's going to happen.
Shoot away the trolls, shoot, shoot, shoot. No purple crumbles, only sunny views. Gonna flick them away like glitter in the air. Positive vibes, no time for the despair. Yeah, just
All right, so let's finish watching this. I'll make my last fireball, and then I've got something to share.
No, I'm good. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, let us know. Be cool. We'll get you swapped out faster.
No, okay. Thank you. Yeah.
He's looking at something. He's not thinking. Is that someone who's thinking? What is he looking at? The blood in the front door? Someone came in that front door. Someone's here. What is he looking at? All right, folks, you've hung in here long enough. And let me just say, I love each and every one of you. The trolls need to be gone, banished. Woo, bye-bye. So let me get this right. You have a loner incel that is narratively placed to be a mass murderer. All right. And we have all these other frats on standby, and we're watching a narrative that does not make sense. So many distractions in this case. And I was going to make a picture of Brian Koberger in a Jedi with a lightsaber and may the force be with you, but I decided not to because, boy, I get some backlash from that. But let me just say this too. You have somebody who loves to hike, and his mother tells him, make sure that you buy a knife out there alone in your hikes because you never know when you're going to come across a bear. All right, that makes logical sense, right? I mean, anybody out hiking at night, what would you be out hiking for? Did Koberger have a forestry job where he was looking at people who were illegally growing things? Possible why he was in the area between 10 and 4 a.m. so many times hiking out there, and his phone was typically off or put in some type of mode, or the network dropped him 20 something times. Is it possible? Absolutely, folks. Because what I'm about to tell you on his witness list was somebody who worked in the Parks and Rec. And do you know what they do? Yes, folks. Look at the Idaho website. Look at the employment of Idaho Parks and Recs. And they even have a WSU lab. One of the people on his list is someone absolutely freaking amazing. He had on his list of witnesses, lay witness step 1, basically professors with a long history of working in the area of this. Jeff Manning, quantitative wildlife biological research. Now, I don't know what they're doing at the labs out there, but you can see this 26 years of professional experience in federal and state resource agencies. You can go and look at his education. You can go, this was one of the individuals, and obviously I talked about the Parks and Rec guy before, not this guy, but a different guy that was coming to be a witness for Kohberger. Is it possible that Kohberger was combing BLM land for illegal growing of things? Possible. Is that why they painted him to be the killer and not, in fact, what other people were thinking who took care of this case? Did they throw him into this and painted him a patsy? Is that even possible? Why would an expert in this field be coming to testify for Brian Kohberger? Wouldn't that be such a twist? That right here in the video that I just showed you, that these guys were saying exactly what really happened, and we missed it all along until these videos were released under FOIA? Is that a possibility, folks? Was this some love triangle? Because I'll tell you, some of the other experts that were coming to testify for Brian Kohberger on his behalf were these amazing couple, wife and husband, in digital forensics experts. Now, if you think about it, bears are also in Idaho, especially out there in the mountains. These experts were coming in to testify on Brian Kohberger's digital behalf. These are experts in the field, guys. Not just one or two experts. He had several experts coming to testify. So why did this case not go to trial if they had so many experts coming to defend an innocent man? Who said uncle and gave them a plea deal? Wow. Wow. There is so much more to this case than meets the eye. These people are experts, and I mean 100% solid experts. Kevin and Carol Pendon. And then we have more experts. Josiah Rolfe, president, senior forensic examiner, owns a company that you wouldn't believe. And what do? Discovery, cell site location information, digital forensics, and the list goes on. I could show you 10 more experts that were coming to testify on Brian Kohberger's behalf. But one of the massive experts that was coming to testify on his behalf is very well known in the industry. Man, I saw her name and I was like, wow. It was going to be the battle of the experts. Was this case just collecting information? Were they just collecting experts to see what technology is out there? What was the bigger agenda? Because when you see this expert, you're going to be like, no way. She is one of the most known experts in the field of DNA, Dr. Ballard. Her resume is amazing, folks. professor at Cal State University, 25 years. She founded forensic biology programs. She teaches. She's the teacher that teaches the teachers. Her amazing, I mean, it's outrageous. It goes on and on and on. The battle of the experts, like I said in the beginning, was absolutely going to be a showdown. I was ready for it. And I've talked about a few of these experts before. But do you know that Dr. Ballard actually worked with Ann Taylor? Look at all these criminal cases, 231. She has worked for criminal defense attorneys. She worked with Ann Taylor. And guess what case she worked on besides Kohberger's case? It's right there in black and white on the internet, folks. It's right there in black and white when we get to Idaho. She worked on the Skylar Mead case where they were able to remove the death penalty, folks. So what was different about Brian Kohberger? What was different about this case? Right there, Idaho 4. People versus S. Mead, criminal defense attorney Ann Taylor, consult 2025. People versus Brian Kohberger, criminal defense public defender Ann Taylor, consult 2025. I mean, Dr. Ballard's testimony, or I mean her curricula vitae goes on and on and on. So what was really going on in this case? What was Brian Kohberger guilty, if anything? It always makes me wonder what's the bigger agenda. What was really happening? You can go look in the other cases and how those cases end up with Dr. Ballard's testimony. Brian Kohberger had a handful of experts coming to testify on his behalf. They knew he didn't do this. So when will justice be served for Brian Kohberger, if it's not already served? What are your thoughts? Leave them below. Thank my mods. Today is Mod Monday. I really appreciate every single one of them. I hope you guys have enjoyed this long, unplanned stream. My lives are impromptu, unscripted. Y'all have been absolutely amazing. I'll tell you, be well. Love y'all.
Unstoppable.